Lots, just great insurance.
Welcome into the Phantastic Sports Show. It is Friday, and Jason Martinez has rolled down to the shore pretty early. So Kyle Fisher is in here. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. I kind of wish I was down the shore a little bit, but...
All right, I'll be there tomorrow.
Well, you know what? Today, I'm glad I'm here with you.
Yeah,
we get to
thank
talk all
you.
things Eagles preseason.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good time. So without further ado, here's what's on deck, because yes, indeedy, did you know in about 24 and a half hours from now, basically, the Eagles will be playing their first preseason game. Spoiler alert, you probably won't see much, but we will see a lot in terms of who's on this team. Anyway, we also talked Field of Dreams game this evening that happened last night, in case you missed it. And we kind of touched on it a little bit when it came to the Sixers schedule, but I really want to dig deeper into that tonight because we kind of just glossed over it. There was a lot going on last night, so I want to look at some maybe marquee matchups that, Kyle, you're excited about.
Oh, yeah. How could you not be?
I know. LeBron James. Anyway, if you would like to weigh in, super easy. Here is how you do it. That number, you see it right there, or you see that QR code, you can scan that, or you can text a selfie-style video to that number. Either way, send your video into one of those places. We'll get it, and we'll put you on TV, but we'll be right back in 30 seconds. Welcome back into the Phantastic Sports Show. Still hanging out with Kyle Fisher, who's my co-host this evening, because Jason is, I don't know. Anyway, Kyle, we are about 24 hours removed from the first preseason game. The Eagles will play the Ravens today. Now, they did have a walkthrough, in case you're a sicko who is like tracking their training camp schedule. They did have a walkthrough today. It was closed to the media. Tomorrow, though, you will see what they're up to because they will be playing a game in Baltimore. So first things first, Kyle. How do you feel about the preseason? Because I'm a little mixed.
Yeah, it's obviously a nice preview. You get yourself a little excited.
Yeah.
You know that the season's right around the corner. August still feels like summer, but once that first preseason game comes around, you feel a little more excited. But especially with this run of Eagles, this coaching staff, I should say, you don't really see much during the preseason. So there's not too much to get excited by, unless you're one of these degenerates who knows every single guy who was signed in the offseason, every guy who likely won't be on the team next week, let alone come week one. But there are some things to be excited about because we do have a new era on the offensive side here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I am excited. Now, I will say, if you are hoping that you're going to get a glimpse of this new offense, I have some news to tell you that is not going to be the case. No. Nick Sirianni was very... You know how he is, when competitive advantage, except not because it's still the preseason. But he basically pulled the "it's a competitive advantage" when asked about who's starting, all that stuff. And he did have some actual reasoning that he shared with us, and he's like, "Look, I'll never forget. In 2021, we put some stuff on tape. Remember, that was his first year as head coach here with the Eagles." And he learned from that experience because he put some stuff on tape during the preseason that they were working on, and it came up and teams were prepared for it. And so he very much took that to heart. And so you are not going to see much of what Sean Mannion has decided to go with here. And it is on purpose. And so don't panic if everything looks very vanilla and very bland, because that, in my opinion, that's also not the purpose of the preseason. The purpose of the preseason is to get the roster from 90 to 53, and those bubble guys need to be evaluated in an in-game scenario.
Right, you need true evaluation of those guys, right? Yeah. If you are just going out there and giving them half a game against guys who are also borderline guys the entire time, you're not getting a true sense of what they can do come NFL
Correct.
Week one. We all know how much the talent, the speed, everything jumps up a level when you go from not only college to the pros, but preseason to the regular season.
Yeah.
So really getting a good idea of what those guys are like is important, and even more of a competitive advantage that he didn't specifically say here, but remains true. Their 2 Super Bowl runs, the big talk throughout the postseason was they were the healthiest team.
Yes.
And one way to guarantee that you stay healthy in the NFL,
Your starters,
take less hits.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's pretty simple math to me.
I have somebody in particular that I'm really looking at this preseason, but let's go to the fan cam first.
Yes, I'll be watching the Eagles tomorrow. And the main thing I'm looking for is how the defense will play.
Yes, I'll be watching the Eagles game tomorrow. My optimism is, can Sean Marion's offense be successful for Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith? And can the safeties thrive?
Yeah, Edward made a good point talking about the defense. The guy that I'm most interested to see how he is Drew Makuba.
Yeah.
They have him listed as Andrew on the roster. He prefers to be called Drew. I've asked him that. He has said Drew. So I constantly have to correct myself, even though the Eagles PR and the Eagles themselves have him listed as Andrew. He prefers Drew. So just so you know. But I really liked the trajectory that he was on. Didn't he pick off Patrick Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, just unbelievable rookie year, and then bang, broken ankle. Hated that for him.
Right.
And I know from talking to guys like Nakobe Dean and whatnot that those season enders really are not just a struggle physically, but also mentally as well. And so the first time I remember Nakobe said that he felt back was stepping on the field in an actual game action scenario, not training camp, not anything before that. It was that moment against another team that he felt really confident in his abilities, and I kind of want the same for Drew Makuba, and I hope that he continues where he left off.
That's a great shot. He's not someone that I had on my list, but now that you've put him in my mind, I'll be watching him closely tomorrow, that's for sure. My focus is more on the offensive end, and not because I think we're going to see something revolutionary or get some real true sneak peek at Sean Mannion's offense, but the big issue for this team the last couple of years has been if there's any sort of decline in offensive line production, where have you turned? And they have three guys that I think will get a lot of snaps during the preseason. You should see a healthy dose of tomorrow. Markel Bell, obviously drafted this season. He'll be playing tackle. Knowing that Lane Johnson, it could be his last season, I'll be focused on him. And then Willie Lampkin. We didn't really get to see him at all last year. They had a lot of tough times in that interior line last season. He's going to be playing plenty of snaps at center and guard. Not to mention Drew Kendall, same thing. Guard and center. So for me, since the running game is such a heavy focus for them, I am really going to be watching that offensive line closely to see how they look.
That's an excellent point. Let's go back to the fan cam.
Nothing from the first preseason game is going to change my optimism for the regular season. It has no real bearing on my expectation for the regular season because it's just the first preseason game. It's more about depth and who might emerge unexpectedly, like last year, Darius Cooper, for example. Who is the next Darius Cooper is what I'm looking for.
Okay, so I really like that shout for Darius Cooper. Love that. Thank you, Prem, on that. He's also a guy that I'm watching because he had some really great moments already in camp, and he's kind of been a little bit of a camp darling. Also, to my same point about Drew Makuba, Johnny Wilson is another one.
Oh yeah.
I really don't think we have seen the best of what he's able to produce, and I'm hoping that this might be the year that we finally get to see what Johnny Wilson is capable of. I mean, that's a big boy.
Right.
I mean, my word. And I really want him to be able to grow into that role.
Yeah, someone that I actually love that too, the Johnny Wilson shout. Another guy I did not think of, but will definitely be paying close attention to. That's why Breland is who she is.
Well, and Kyle, we're just complimenting each other here.
But Eli Stowers for me,
Yes.
not that I think that he's been, it's camp, it's practice,
Right.
but for the diehards, for the sickos out there, they feel like he's had a rather quiet camp, coming in with a lot of expectations.
Yeah.
I think it would be huge for him to have a big game tomorrow. So if I'm rooting for anything on the offensive end, it's probably that.
I like that too. Let's go back to the fan cam one last time.
Yes, I will be checking out the game, at least the first two quarters. I'm really interested to see how our draft picks are going to perform. As Stowers is going to be the heir apparent to Goddard at the tight end, see if he can dominate, and how our two big offensive linemen that we drafted are going to perform, because at some point, hopefully, they'll be able to fill some holes and be the future with the O-line.
Love it, Paul. I absolutely love that. Let's go to our... By the way, just in case you were curious about Eli Stowers, I did talk to Dallas Goedert earlier last week. He said he's been really impressed with what the kid's been able to do. So that's a great sign, even though it has been a little bit quiet. Anyway, let's go to our Go Vote. We asked you guys, are you watching the Eagles preseason opener tomorrow? Are you not interested? You got plans? Are you doing something else? 81% of you guys are locked in, you little sickos. I love this for you. I'm like the type of person, I don't know if you're this way. I am guilty of setting my phone up on like at dinner or like out at the bar and watching the Phillies or watching preseason.
100%.
Or watching whatever. So
there's many pictures of me watching an Eagles game during my brother-in-law's wedding.
right.
I mean,
so like even if you're in the no category, you can stream it on your phone for a hot minute. Maybe just like the first series. I don't know. Be a sicko. We'll be right back. Okay, so I've lived through 4.
They had to make one more, right?
We're gonna go 5. Oh, can we say 5? Oh, can we say 5? Jaden Daniels, don't come after us.
Watch out.
Please don't NIL us. Anyway, there we go, 5.
Look at that.
And we lived through. How blessed are we? Wait, can we just pause for a second? How blessed are we that we have lived through 4 Eagles Super Bowl appearances when there've only been 5 in the history? I mean, I know we're sometimes like really hard on this team, but we got to be. Can you imagine being a fan in the 70s? That's the pits.
Right. We inherited that.
Right.
In our fandom.
Right. I love this for us. That was just like a little thank you, Howie Roseman. Anyway, so let's continue our conversation. We're going to switch gears here to the team across the street from the Eagles, and that, of course, is the Phillies, who were not across the street. They were actually in the middle of the cornfield yesterday. It was the Field of Dreams game in Dyersville, Iowa, and my dream was that the Phillies offense would figure it out. And guess what? They sure did.
Oh, yeah.
7-1 was your final. This is also super cool. I hope, Kyle, that this inspires them to just go on a tear. Like, how can you not look at that? Look at Bryce right now, just really taking it all in. Hopefully they all just saw that, were inspired, and can just rip through the last couple weeks of the season, but I don't know. They scare me. How do you feel?
Well, I love what Brandon Marsh said about it during his in-game interview. He was like, it's a long season. Sometimes it can get, I know people don't want to hear this, but it can get monotonous. It can feel the same. And
especially right
when
about
you have
now.
a big event like this to look forward to, and it gives you a break, and they have a random Friday off, and then they have a couple weeks in a row now where they're going to have a day off midweek after having 14 games in 14 days. It feels like this could be a jumping off point. Now, the guys need to go out there and perform. That's always been the issue.
Right.
But there's no reason to feel like this couldn't be a jumping off point. Came right when they needed it most.
Yeah, absolutely. So Schwarby homering twice in this one. There's one. And then Brandon Marsh getting in on the action as well. As I mentioned, 7-1 is your final. But you have a shout out for someone else.
Yeah. The starting pitcher in the game. I know people wanted to make a lot of jokes going in because there's been a lot of home runs hit in Dyersville so far, but Aaron Nola shutting the door for 5 strong innings. He tied a season high with 9 strikeouts, and it just continued a hot stretch for Nola. He hasn't necessarily looked like the guy who's had top 5 Cy Young finishes, but he's looked more and more like the guy you need him to be at the back end of that rotation. There was a lot of disappointed fans when they did not add another starter at the deadline. I think the disappointed front office as well, but if he continues to pitch the way that he has, that can help right the ship. They went a long time without getting wins when that 4th or 5th starter went out there, and the guy has pitched to a 4 ERA over his last 8 starts.
Yeah. You know what? And I appreciate you saying that and bringing that up, because I feel like we're very hard on the Phillies pitching in general, but especially Aaron Nola.
Right.
And he deserves his flowers, and I thought he had a tremendous outing yesterday. So, you know what? Good for you, Aaron Nola. We're going to give you some flowers today. Somebody else you wanted to discuss was one Trey Turner.
Yeah, Trey Turner. So there's been a lot of similar to Aaron Nola, right? Because he's had bad stretches, he becomes a punching bag for the fans. It's an easy guy to hate on.
Jason wanted him traded.
Oh, I remember.
At the deadline. It was rare. I believe you might have actually even been here that day.
When you sign 11 years and you're supposed to be this mega star and you don't live up to expectations, it's easy to become the punching bag.
Yeah.
But for the last 2 months, he's hit 291, has an on-base matching his best season in a Phillies uniform, which was last year, and his OPS is better than his best power surge season in a Phillies uniform over the last 2 months. It's not a small sample size anymore. We talked about him getting hot for a little bit. He's continued it. I told my brother today on our podcast, like, would you love to drop a guy into the top of the lineup who has an 830 OPS? Wouldn't that be fun? He's like, yeah, that'd be great. Does that guy exist? Yes. He's
It's
currently
Trey
hitting
Turner.
second in the Phillies lineup day in and day out.
Wow.
To me, that is an overlooked part of what he's done.
Yeah.
He'll make an error at shortstop next week, and people will rip him the entire time,
Right.
ignoring the fact that he has been fueling this engine for 2 months now.
See, look at you, Kyle. I know I can always count on you to just point out some things that maybe have been overlooked. All right, we are going to take another timeout, and we come back. Kyle, I want your opinion on the Sixers schedule. Now that we've had a good 24 hours to really marinate on the full season schedule, what are you looking forward to? We'll talk about it coming up after the break. Welcome back. We're down the stretch here, and in case you somehow missed it, the Sixers dropped their full season schedule yesterday. And Kyle, now that we've had some time to digest this a little bit, what were your initial thoughts when you saw that?
Well, how could you not be excited? I mean,
Yeah.
the league is excited about all of the names coming in. Obviously, LeBron, I think,
Clearly,
made an even bigger difference.
34 nationally televised games. That's
Right.
the league max and the most in franchise history.
Exactly. I mean, how could you not be excited about your team getting the attention? Clearly, everybody recognizes that the star power alone and the roster fit changes this team from a borderline playoff team to a championship contender, and they want to highlight them. It's not just LeBron, although that has a big part to do with it, I would say, but it's not just him. It's the fact that this team, they've made their mark. This front office came in and made their mark immediately on the roster, and the league is taking notice.
Yeah, so we've got obviously a slew of dates here, but there are a few marquee matchups, and then just ones that just stand out to you. So what are your favorite ones here that you see maybe on the screen or maybe not on the screen at all?
Well, I mean, you have all the big days, or at least the days that the NBA has tried to make big days, right? So Thanksgiving, we got it. Christmas, we got it. New Year's Day, we got it. MLK Day, we got it. They're opening the season against the champs with a chance to play spoiler up in New York.
Yep.
Which would be, oh man, I mean, that would
How
be like,
sweet would that be?
that could feed families if they were to do that. My goodness. And then how many games they have against the Celtics. I mean, I know they play the same amount, but that's going to be awesome. I think Jaylen Brown's just going to turn himself into a monster in those games.
Too.
And the fact that the first time you get them is in our house in South Philly is going to be pretty exciting come November. So I don't know what stands out to you, but the fact that they've hit like every major day on the NBA calendar, on top of having all these other nationally televised games. The only thing that I'm really disappointed in is how many times I'm going to have to sign up for temporary subscriptions for all these apps.
Yeah, you and me both.
They even still do that.
I will say, though, it's a little intimidating. Is not the right word. You know, when I was in school in college, you can go to a Sixers game for like $10, and that was kind of the case last year as well. At certain points, you could get a ticket for dirt cheap. I think the Philadelphia Wings were more expensive than a Philadelphia 76ers ticket, and now it's like you got, I don't even know, what was it, $1,000-something like for some of these games minimum. I mean, this is unbelievable. It's the LeBron James effect.
It's not only the LeBron James effect, but the LeBron James is now over 40, and this will likely be his last stop effect, right? Like, even if he plays one more year, you have minimal chances to see him at this point.
in real life, in the flesh, with your own two. I get it. But it is insane to me in a good way, but also a little bit of that this just took such a turn. I felt like overnight. You just woke up one day and it's like, here we go, the whirlwind of this team. I'm excited about it, though, and I think that's the key is that I'm excited about Sixers basketball, and we're talking about Sixers basketball in August for the first time, and God knows how long. So, Mike Gansey, hats off to you,
for real,
my guy. I mean, geez, what a first impression for the city, and your team that you put together hasn't even played a single game.
Right, and there is one side effect to all of this, right? This has been a team that has been talked about as potential forever. And
Yeah.
oh, well, now that these guys are getting older, and then they draft a younger guy behind Embiid, and they go out and get Harden, and then they do that. They have attempted to break past the potential that they've had. Well, now there's true expectations.
Yeah, and
you bring in Jaylen Brown and LeBron James, and there is real expectations. You're getting this much national attention. They expect you to win. Can you rise to the occasion?
It. All right, we'll be back. Well, welcome back, and we're in the end zone now, so we're almost done. And Kyle, you have a trivia question for me.
Yeah, speaking of in the end zone, in celebration of the fact that we talked about the limited snaps that you'll see from some of the starters this preseason, I wanted to ask you. Barkley has been in the league since 2018. How many preseason rushes do you think he has under his belt?
It's going to be insane. 10.
You are so close. I guessed much higher than that. It is 8.
Oh,
8 preseason
no,
rushes.
see, okay, I just went through something like the most insane. I'm like, it has to be an insane number, right?
I guess 28.
And I was still too high.
Way closer than me.
Anyway, enjoy the preseason game and the weekend, guys.